Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today we're going to talk getting started with Warhammer 40k boarding actions, and today we're going to take a look at the Anhrathe Eldari. Now these are the Eldari Corsairs, so they form a boarding action like your Eldari Craftfields, and we'll go through mustering a boarding action and indeed rules adaptations for them, but obviously they're going to be a little bit more restricted, so we'll quickly brush over stuff that's not going to have as much in effect, but the full rules are up here for building a force with these. We'll then take a look at the different units that can make up an Anhrathe army, and then show you a little sample army list for your boarding actions of 500 points, which is the standard size boarding action game, at the end of the video. So to start with, all Craftworld units in your boarding party must be from the same Craftworld, so cool. You can include one heavy support slot, but only if that unit is a Dark Reapers unit. Not really apparent for us, but it is there for your knowledge. Storm Guardian and Guardian Defenders can be split into a 6 and 5 model unit if they contain one of their weapon or the Serpent scale platforms. Warlocks can pretty much be included in any unit size they want, 1 to 5. Aspect Warriors, again, doesn't matter. Favor of the Cane enhancements cannot be given, and units with the Hunter of the Ancient Relics Craftworld attribute cannot be taken either. You also can't include any Harlequins, so there's not really a lot that affects our Anhrathe units, any of our Corsairs, which is nice. Now, the rules adaptations, though, there will be a lot here that sort of affects. So, first of all, models cannot make battle-focused moves. This is definitely a bit of a balancing thing. You know, with the corridors, you definitely don't want to be able to have Eldar popping out around a corridor, then moving, unable to be shot down a long corridor. Doesn't sound like the best time to me. Phoenix Lord models cannot perform the secure sight action. When an enemy model makes a ranged attack against a unit with a Gloom Field, the Fieldcraft or Master Concealment Craftworld attributes, that unit is treated as having cover against the attack if the attacking model is more than 6 inches away from its target. When determining the number of dice for your Strands of Fate ability, you're treated as the same size as a combat patrol game, which, you know, makes a lot of sense. 500 points, makes perfect sense to me. When an enemy unit is selected as a target of a charge by a unit that is equipped with Howling Banshee's Mask or Terror's Lament, not really apparent to us, but you can't set to defend to it. And the Execution of Psychic Power has a Warp Charge value of 9, which is a little bit apparent to us, because we potentially can have some Psychics in the Force. And so, where to begin? But I think Prince Uriel, for me, he is going to be, you know, the centerpiece for the Force. Now, you definitely don't have to include him. You don't have to have HQ options, but he's the only one available to the Anhrathe Force. Now, he is going to give you a Weapon Skill Bliss Skill 2+ model with Strength and Toughness 3, 6 wounds, and 5 attacks. His melee attacks will be with that Spear of Twilight for ×2 Strength -3 AP, damage 3, and he's got his Eye of the Wrath, which is a nice little 6-inch shooting attack at Strength 6, -3 AP, damage 2. Potentially take a Space Marine out with it. Now, he's got Superlative Strategist like Ortux. This can allow him to use the command reroll stratagem twice during each phase instead of only once. His Path of Command will allow Anhrathe infantry within 6 inches of him to reroll hit rolls of 1, which is nice. And then his Prince of Corsairs allows you to muck around with how much you can put into Strategic Reserve, which is really cool. Now, if we're looking at some units to bring in, first of all, our troops are the Corsair Void Reavers. Now, Corsair Void Reavers can only be included as compulsory units in your force, and if you're Battleforged, and your only units in said force are Anhrathe units. Of course, in this particular army list, that's what we're going for. Now, they've also got the Reavers of the Void rule, where each time a model unit makes an attack, a modified hit roll of a 6 will automatically wound, which is pretty sweet. You can take a variety of different weapons. You've got the option to take blasters and shredders. For Dark Elder fans, you probably know those sort of weapons. Wraith cannons as well. It's a pretty cool weapon to have available to you, along with shuriken cannons, shuriken rifles, neuro disruptors, and an Eldari power sword as well in there for your sergeant. There's a nice lot of different options. Now, it should be said that these Void Reavers are built out of the same kit as the Void Scarred. The Void Scarred are just a much more elite options for them. Now, the Void Scarred are a much different unit. There's a lot more to them. You've got pretty much all the same sort of options you have on the Void Reavers, but they get access to the other sort of things. So first of all, you have the upgradable unit options. So you can have either one of your Void Scarred upgraded to be one of the different sort of unit special upgrades. Now, the first of these can be a Shade Runner, which is pretty cool. He's got paired Hekatari blades. What these are is -3 AP damage 1 weapons, but also the Shade Runner Assault, where this unit contains a Shade Runner model. Each time a unit finishes a charge, you can select one enemy unit within engagement range of this unit and roll a d6. On a 2 to 5, that unit suffers a mortal wound. On a 6, they suffer 2 mortal wounds. You then also have a Soul Weaver, which is going to be equipped with Channeler Stones, which are really nice. Once per turn, the first time a saving throw is failed for the bearer's unit, the damage characteristic is changed to 0. Pretty cool stuff there. And then you've also got, taking the last one, you've got a Wayseeker, which has a Witch Staff and brings a Psychic into your force, which is really cool. Other than that, you've got, your Falcon, which can be put on your leader. Each time a model of the bearer unit make a ranged attack, you don't give away light cover, or your opponent won't get light cover. You've then got, all your other upgrades like the Void Reavers do. So you've got Wraith Cannons, you've got Neurodisruptors, you've got Ranger Long Rifles in there. Whole bunch of cool different weapon options, which I think just make for a really interesting unit to take. And so here we have our sample army list for you. Now, we've got the boarding patrol, obviously, we're going 500 points. Corsairs, Prince Yuru is going to lead our force. And then we've got our troops. We've got 2 units of Void Reavers. One of these units is stock standard 5 models, all with Shuriken rifles, providing us with a nice little shooting support unit. But the other one is going to have all the upgrades. So they've got the Wraith Cannon, they've got the Corsair Blaster and Corsair Shredder. They've also got, the Void Reaver Fellac with a Mist Shield and Neurodisruptor. Now, the Corsair Void Scarred unit we have is tooled to the nines as well. It has, the Soul Weaver, the Shade Runner, and the Wayseeker, who's going to take Guide. Now, for me, there is an option between Guide and Doom here. Guide requires you to task on one of your units, which you can then do things with later. Doom requires you to have line of sight, which and put on an enemy unit, which is much harder to do in a game of boarding patrol. You'd need to be there at the start of your turn to be able to see them, and without battle focus, I think this is a little bit harder. So definitely for me, I think I would be going with the spells that I can cast on my units rather than ones that are needed to be cast on enemy units. But on top of that, they've got all their other upgrades. They've got the Wraith Cannon in there, they've got the Power Sword in there, they've got a Long Rifle, they've got the Corsair Blaster and Shredder. And then the Void Guard has the Mist Shield and Neurodisrupt as well for a 499 point army. This is pretty fun for an Eldari force of the Anhrathe. If you've had some ideas or been thinking about running one of these armies in boarding actions, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And so that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And if you did enjoy the video and you want to say something, leave us a comment down below and let us know what you thought. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our great little community here at Cinderful Gaming, we have a Discord server linked down in the video's description. Also down there in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel if you'd like to do so. You can either grab yourself some merch via our Teespring or Ko-fi stores, which are linked down there, or our Patreon and YouTube members where you can help support the channel, get yourself a shout out, and indeed if you're a YouTube member as well, get yourself some cool emotes to use in our live discussions or indeed on your comments on YouTube. As a special thank you to all our Patreon and YouTube members, we'd like to give you all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons, Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lowe, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, The Rising 8, Q Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallows, Red Martin, Iron Grinch, Nicholas Conomos, Colorblind Magic, and Daniel Etherington. And to our YouTube members, Green Roots Gaming, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariane Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, John Castle, Davis Weir, James South, James Tillman, and Dylan Areno. And lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see here for the channel, and to everyone who helps run our Discord server, all our mods, you're fantastic, and everyone who makes it a great place in there as well, and indeed to everyone who helps come and do the battle reports, and to all our sponsors on the channel as well. Thank you all once again for watching, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.